Alright guys, update version 0.19 content patch. And for all of you who are like, oh, we're gonna be stuck in this ADC grim meta for another 6 weeks because this is a content patch. No, don't let yourself be fooled. Like I told you, there is plenty of balance within this content patch. So let's dive in because we got a lot to cover. Greetings champions, version 0.19 is here, and with it comes our latest defensive powerhouse of a hero, Terra. Terra excels at sticking around, shrugging off damage and crowd control effects like it's nothing before hitting back seriously hard. It's not just Terra in the spotlight this week though, as our stores are jam-packed full of savings thanks to our summer skin sale, which handily coincides with Steam's own summer sale. On top of this, our gameplay team has been ridiculously busy addressing a number of balance changes and tweaks following on from our previous major balance updates. With no major new features in this update, but ranked mode continues as ever each week. With the current opening times being Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, this availability is being expanded each week, but keep an eye out for separate blogs discussing this topic and more later in the week. Interesting. Right, let's bring it back to the here and now and hurl ourselves into this week's patch notes. Terra, the steadfast bulwark. Alright. So her passive, Herser. Terra gains stacks of Herser when damaging enemies with basic attacks and abilities up to a maximum of 5. At maximum stacks, Terra's next ability is empowered and gains additional effects. Entering the base grants Terra maximum Herser stacks. So, man, we really don't see the HUD, huh? Well, Terra has both where you would see like sev stacks on HUD, it tracks it there, but also under her mana bar there are 5 empty gems, and each time you auto it turns gold. That is visible by enemies too, so enemies know how many stacks you have, so they know when an empower ability is coming up. So Carve, her basic auto attack, deals 61 damage plus 80% bonus physical power as physical damage. She has a pretty, honestly, really boring auto attack chain. Ruthless Assault, her primary, cooldown 11 seconds going down to 8 at max level, cost 55 going down to only 35 at max level, pretty cheap ability. Terra spins her axe, striking all enemies around her before slashing forward a second time. Each strike deals 45 going up to 125 at max level, plus 80% bonus physical power as physical damage. Hitting an enemy hero refunds 10% of the cooldown per strike. I honestly didn't even know that. For context, I have already played Terra. Empowered. So this is after you hit 5 autos or 5 abilities or leave spawn. Terra strikes an additional time for a total of 3 strikes, with the third strike dealing 55 going up to 175 at max level, plus 120% of your bonus physical power as true damage to all enemies in front of her. So Terra is capable of hitting very hard with this ability. Let's see it in action here. So there you go. Her secondary, Highland Hurl, CD, 11 seconds going down 9 at max level, costs 50 going up to 70 at max level. Terra throws a spectral axe dealing 100 going up to 240 plus 90% bonus physical power as magical damage, and slows targets hit by 20 going up to 52% for 1.25 seconds. It pierces through minions and monsters, so it does work fairly well for clearing camps. And when it's empowered, it roots enemies hit instead for 1.25 seconds. That is at all levels. So we can see it here. Beautiful. Really good ability, really useful for ganking. The 1.25 second root is notable when we get to this ability here, her alternate Wild Rush. Cooldown 14 seconds going down to 10 at max level, cost 70. Effect, Terra raises her shield, channeling it for up to 4 seconds before dashing forward, dealing 40 going up to 120 plus 70% bonus physical power as physical damage to all enemies in her path, knocking them back and stunning them for 0.25 seconds. While charging for the first 1.25 seconds, her dash range and damage increases, dealing up to 120 all the way up to 360 at max level plus 210% bonus physical power as physical damage. So we see the 1.25 again, the same duration as a root. That's how much it takes for her to reach max charge. and deal, as you can see, a massive amount of damage. If the channel times out or is interrupted, the ability's cooldown is refunded by 50%. So canceling it also does this, and I wish that wasn't the case, and there's actually some feedback I'm gonna leave. Hopefully I remember to do that after the video. And when it's empowered, on enemy hit, you gain a 20, going up to 340 at max level, plus 15% maximum health shield for 4 seconds. It honestly might be low worth leveling this first. The damage is kind of low. An offlane that might be worth. Just the shield gets so big. 80 per level is kind of nuts. Anyway, one thing I do want to note about Terra is all of her damage is bonus physical power scaling. So while the numbers are large, you have to take away your base physical power. So it is something worth noting. So this may seem absurd, but then you have to consider the fact that it is specifically bonus. And then her ultimate, Unstoppable Force, cooldown 130, going down to 70 at max level, costs 100 at all levels. Terra's helmet slams down, cleansing all debuffs affecting her and granting her maximum Herster stacks instantly. For the next 6, going up to 8 seconds at max level, Terra becomes unstoppable, immune to crowd control effects, and doubles the passive bonus armor gained from this ability. The passive on this ability, so when you're level 1 with this ability, you'll get the first level always. Like, it's just always there, no matter what you're doing. So the passive, gain 10, going up to 26 at maximum level, physical armor and magical armor. So she just has natural bulk, which is pretty good. The 10 is nice at level 1. Honestly, I feel like you're sitting on 18 for a while where it doesn't feel super, super great. And then you hit max level and it's 26 and you're like, damn, that's pretty good. So it's like a whole free item, basically. Worth of armor, anyway. I didn't play the dash, so we'll do that now. Sorry. Yeah, so it is a stun and a slight displacement. It's kind of similar to Crunch Dash in that sense. Alright, so that's Terra. I think she's, on paper and in my head, she seems really good. I kind of struggled with her, but I think that's a me issue. I gotta figure out a build for her. Something I'll have to work on when this patch drops, for sure. I'm excited. She's a lot of fun. Very cool. Store news, new skins. So we got Griffin Knight Terra. Kind of a cool skin. I haven't actually seen this one. Mecha Terra, Iggy, and Scorch. Another kind of cool skin. I wish we had like the in-game model views. Oh, dude, this skin. Oh my god. Red Scarab Sereth. Dude, something about red-haired Sereth. Damn. I don't buy skins. I'm buying this skin. I don't buy skins very often. This one I'm acquiring. Of course, we have bundles. The Griffin Knight bundle for Terra comes with Terra herself, the premium affinity track, the new skin, the spray, which she's got I guess she's wiping the sweat off her head, a banner, and a profile icon. Mecha Terra, Iggy, and Scorch. Same thing. You're getting the character. Same thing as the last bundle. You're getting the character, the skin, icon, banner, and the new spray. I kind of like this spray. We have an occult Kira variant bundle. A couple new, the pirate-esque skin. So you'll get Kira and then the occult's Kira skin, and then the 2 variants. I really do like the pink one. I feel like the blue one kind of doesn't look different enough to warrant, but it's a cool skin. Cool, what do you call it? Variant? The red one. Sereth coming with a bundle with just Sereth, the new skin, and then this cute L spray, which I'm probably gonna get the bundle because I want the L spray. We got some new smooth Grux skins, is what I call them. We got it'll come with Grux, the current in the game, which is currently in the game, the Ruby Scarab Grux, as well as Hypernova Ruby Grux and Onyx Ruby Scarab Grux. I think the red one is still my favorite, so I personally, the other one actually kind of looks good. I didn't realize it had the blue. If you're into smooth Grux, I hate this skin personally, but go for it. And then we have the Ruby Scarab bundle, which is the 2 Ruby Scarab skins, and then the 2 heroes, and the L spray. Does Grux not have a spray? I guess not. Interesting. All right, summer sales. We have skin scales. Awesome. Over the next couple weeks, we're having we're slashing prices on skins across the in-game store with up to 50% off some fan favorites. Sales are on. Oh, they're on weekly rotation. Oh shit. Okay, so oh, we have them all right here. All right, bet. Am I gonna? Nice. This still works with my like recording. All right. So this is week 1. Obsidian Rampage. That's a big one. I feel like people like Blackheart Morgesh. Scavenger Drongo's a good skin, and then we got like a bunch of basically just recolors. Though I do like this Decker, and I do already own this Greystone. This Fae recolor is also pretty good. If you were looking to get some skins, it sucks the Rampage is only 15% off, but you know, you're looking to pick up some skins. There you go. Next week, week 2, we got Warlord Xeris. That's a big one. Royal Gideon, the Lunar Ops Wraith is a cool skin. I don't personally care about any of the other ones. What else do we got? Oh, it's just the 2. Are we getting more than that? I wonder if we're gonna get a 3rd week and we just haven't done it yet. I actually have the only skins that I care about out of this. Well, actually I might get the Xeris skin. 25% off, not bad. Steam Summer Sale. For those of you on PC, we're excited to share that Predecessor is once again on offer as part of the Steam Summer Sale. While we're completely free to play, it's a great chance to pick up on the rare, epic, and legendary game bundles, which are 50, 10, and 10% off respectively, letting you top up hero skins of Platinum this summer. Interesting. I'm gonna move this to my other monitor real quick. Is this just... Yeah, so it's just the bundles. There's no... You can't get, like, Platinum cheaper. Man, if there was cheaper Platinum, that would have been pretty sick. Damn, it's just the bundles, which I already have all of them, obviously. Alright, gameplay balance changes. Let's go, dude. Alright. Oh, I actually didn't realize this was happening. Alright, critical strike damage being increased from 150% to 155. That is massive for Revenant and just ADCs in general. Crit was kind of whatever after the 10% nerf. On hit was completely running everything. So... nice. Maybe crit's gonna be meta. Minions. Minion damage modifier for melees increased from 90% to 100%, and range decreased from 115% to 110%. This should make fighting in minion waves a bit more as you would expect. Jungle. Let me scroll here before I go too far. Okay, cool. All right. This is the big one. This is the big one, chat. Chat, I'm not even live. Jungle objectives. We're maybe putting the boss back in Jungle Boss. Fangtooth physical armor increased from 25 plus 2 per level to 25 plus 3 per level. Primal Fangtooth physical armor increased from 60 plus 1 per level to 70 plus 2 per level, so a pretty significant jump there. Orb Prime armor increased from 90 plus 3 per level to 100 plus 3 per level. Blight debuff increased from 40% to 50%, giving the jungle bosses a little extra juice. You love to see that. No mini prime change though, which is interesting. Buffs. Red buff. Health decreased from 2,500 to 3,000 plus 200 per level to now 2,450 to 2,800 plus 150 per level, making these significantly easier to clear at all levels. Now correctly scales... Oh, that... Alright, so I bitched at Omega and was like, why is jungle XP so low? How did you guys fuck it up this bad? They still fucked it up, don't get me wrong. But it is interesting to note that this was a bug that I was unaware of. Bug fix now correctly scales its XP across the game instead of being stuck at level 1. That was a thing. I'm actually screenshotting that and sending it to my team because that's crazy that happened. Oh, I just leaked DMs. I'm gonna have to edit that, I think. Blue buff. I guess blue buff didn't have that bug, or they didn't fix it. Health. It's the same health change. Gold buff. Health increased. Interesting. From 1,100 plus 80 per level to 1,100 plus 100 per level. Cyan buff. Health is staying same flat, but going up 20 per level. XP decrease. I actually think this is a good change. Cyan was a bit powerful. From 70 plus 12 per level to 65 plus 10 per level. Pretty significant nerf there to Cyan camp. Alright. So we're getting into jungle camps. A lot has changed. It's all XP related. Basically, junglers around 7 minutes are going to get more XP because they have been falling behind around that point. This is also going to be a big deal that red is also getting buffed because of a bug fix. It's possible that it's overtuned. I don't think it will be. It felt really good in the little bit that I was playing. Mind you, I also don't know if this bug was fixed when I was playing. This is massive. Jungle's going to be bearable again. I'm back in it, baby. Let's go. I'm coming. Just have to deal with one more ranked weekend until this is fixed. A lot has changed, and it's not super... It's not going to be great to hear it read out. So, I'm just going to leave up the still image for a little bit. You guys can pause and read it if you want to. Just know, around 7 minutes, junglers ain't going to be feeling so bad in the mid to late game. But they won't feel super strong in the early game. Like, they won't outpace the early game, you know what I mean? Alright. So there's the 2 camp, the 3 camp. Take your picture. 4 camp, 5 camp. As you can see, a lot's changed. I would just be saying numbers that wouldn't mean much. It'd be a mouthful. Just a disaster all around. So, with my one big wish on the wish list out of the way, even more so than nerfing Grim, junglers are back in the game, baby. Alright, hero balance. I'm actually going to read this little blurb, which I usually don't read. General TTK has proven too fast in many scenarios, especially in the case of physical damage output from the likes of carries and bruisers. While further balance adjustments to the damage offered by heroes and items are ongoing to help offset this, we've once again increased the amount of physical armor heroes possess, leveling up, better bringing us to a happy medium where punishes can still occur should an opponent step out of position, but not to the extent they blow up with little room to react. All melee heroes have gained 0.35 additional physical armor growth. All ranged heroes have gained 0.25 additional physical armor growth. It's not a lot, but it is something going in the right direction. Again, we prefer this. Hot water, cold water balancing is ass. We prefer fine-tuning adjustments. Argus gets a nice buff. Yes, kind of. Yes, I would say this is a buff. My mid laner said he got buffed, but this... Okay, yeah. Dread Nova, his primary damage decreased from 100 going up to 200 to now 90 going up to 190. So 10 damage buff on the Dread Nova. Mana cost going from 80 to now 80, going up to 100 at max level, so no longer flat 80. But Particle Shredder, his alternate, going from 20 damage going up to 52 to now 20 going up to 60. So once you hit max level, you'll really feel this change, where yes, you're losing 10 damage on Dread Nova at all levels, but Particle Shredder dealing an extra 8 every single tick is pretty significant. Aurora getting changed even more. I still don't think this character's that great outside of like a super coordinated comp team, and there's only like 3 teams in PCC that I would trust to actually play her correctly. Frozen Simulacrum, her passive, I hope I said that right, monster damage cap decreased from 10 plus 4 per level to 6 plus 3 per level, so her really fast jungle clear is actually kind of getting gutted pretty hard. That's significant. Hoarfrost, her secondary cooldown increased from 14 seconds going down to 10 at max level to now 14 seconds going down to only 11 at max level. Boreal Sweep, her alternate ability, damage decreased from 45 going up to 105 to now 40 going up to 100, but increasing in magical power scaling going from 35% to 40%. Explosion damage decreased from 75 going up to 195 to now 70 going up to 190. Cryoseism, her ultimate, damage decreased from 130 going up to 370 at max level to now just 120 going up to only 360 at max level. Again, magical power scaling increased from 50% to 55%. Explosion damage decreased from 65 going up to 185 to now 60 going up to 180, but the magical power scaling increased from 25% to 27.5%. Cooldown increased from 120 going up to 100 to 130 going up to 110 now. So she's getting scaling. The passive nerf is notable. This is not that big of a deal. So this is just a jungle clear nerf mostly, and then making her get more value out of her damage items versus just going full tank. Yeah, I think this is fine because I don't think this character is insanely good. This is her one like really notable advantage is her insane jungle clear. So I think this is actually a good change. Countess. Shadow Slip, her primary damage increased from 85 going up to 205 to now 95 going up to 215. That's a scary 10 power level 1 increase. Blade Siphon, her alternate healing increased from 10 going up to 22 to now 12 going up to 24. So Countess getting a little more sustain and a little bit more trade potential in the mid lane, perhaps. I mean, she might even be viable offlane, honestly. Crunch, just a hitbox change. Right Crunch's secondary hitbox range increased by 10%, and powered hitbox range decreased by 15%. This is uppercut, right? Yes. So his uppercut had like a very strange, had a very strange range to it. This is actually going to take a lot of adjusting for Crunch players, where you would just get uppercutted from like basically nowhere near him. So that's been toned back, but also the jab is going further now, which is also good because the jab kind of was, I think it was shorter than melee range, right? Drongo. Drongo needs a little bit of love. Attack speed increased from 120 to 125. All right. And bug fix. Wasteland, his passive now correctly applies when rad rounds are active and a critical strike occurs. Okay, cool. Little juice of life in the Drongo. Feng Mao. Safeguard, his primary shield decreased from 100 going up to 300 max level to now only 80 going up to 300 max level. So level 1, 2. Yeah, it's nerfed at all levels except for max level, but that early game level 1 nerf is pretty significant. Reaping Dash cooldown refund decreased from 25% to 20%. All right. Earth Shatter, his ultimate execute threshold decreased. Oh. From 30 going up to 700 to now 30 going up to only 660. Hitbox height decreased by 40%. Is it actually? I don't know how high the hitbox is. I can't say I've ever felt like his hitbox went too high, but maybe I'm just never noticed. Interesting. So Feng Mao gets toned back a little bit. I'm cool with that. I don't like that character anyway. Gideon, mana regen decreased. Oh god, from 1.4 to 1.2. He already has mana struggles. Cosmic Griff is primary. Damage decreased from 135 going down to 315 to now 130 going up to 310 only. And magical power scaling decreased from 75% to 70%. Black Hole, Gideon's ultimate, cooldown increased from 110 going down to 80 max level to now 120 going down to 90 at max level. Pull strength decreased by 10%, and the pull now has a 0.5 second delay before it begins to pull enemies. So this is a very significant nerf to Gideon. I do still think he's viable, and I think he's fine, and he's still going to be a premier mid laner. These two lines right here, the pull strength on live is really, really jank. It's so strong. If you're in the middle, you basically can't get out. I feel like that his pull strength wasn't this strong before, and I don't know when it got changed. But now you'll be able to like escape the edge a little bit, and the 0.5 second delay is massive. It actually gives you some reaction time to Gideon out where you can actually do something to kind of just mitigate the damage or just escape fully. It punishes Gideon players for not actually just ulting at a good time. Ulting on a massive CC like Steel Ult's now really like feels more rewarding, because if you don't have a CC, it's less like you feel more rewarded because they took reward away from just a generic ultimate. Moving on to the problem child, Grim. Grim gets hit hard this patch. Spoiler alert, Pulsefire passive damage decreased from 15 to 10. Displacement Blast, his primary damage decreased from 115 going up to 275 to now 110 going up to 270. Assault Mode, his secondary, total physical power scaling decreased from 20% to 12%. Magical power scaling decreased from 15% to 10%. Mana cost increased from 12 going up to 28 max level to now 20 flat at all levels. Mana Restore changed from 6 going up to 10 at max level to now 4 going up to 12 at max level. GTFO, his ultimate damage decreased from 320 going up to 560 at max level to now 280 going up to only 550 at max level. So his level 1 ultimate gets a pretty decent significant nerf. I feel like maybe he was nerfed more in the version I played. This is where you're like looking at the juice of it. So pretty significant nerfs to Grim. Not trying to completely kill him, but definitely a bit more than a slap on the wrist for the boy. Speaking of more than a slap on the wrist, Grux. Bloodlust, his passive Omnivamp decreased from 12% going up to 30% at max level to now 10% only going up to 25% at max level. Smash and Grab, his primary damage decreased from 115 going up to 235 at max level to now 100 going up to 220 at max level. Double Pain, his alternate total physical power scaling decreased from 120% to 110%. Warlord's Challenge, his ultimate physical power steal decreased from 5 going up to 9 at max level to now 4 going up to only 8 at max level. Cooldown increased from 110 going down to 60 to now 120 going down to only 70 at max level. Pretty significant changes to Grux. Obviously we got the damage nerfs, but more so what you're going to be looking at is the Omnivamp nerf, as well as the physical power steal nerf. Grux is your limits are going to be very changed with Grux, and it is going to take a bit to get used to, and he is going to feel a lot weaker. I do still think he's going to be very strong. Howitzer, R2000 missile, his primary, just gets a cooldown increase from 10 going down to 6 at max level to now 11 going down to only 7 at max level. Nothing too big of a deal there. Iggy, the community was very much so loving this character, thinking he was very, very strong. I was wrong in thinking that he still wasn't good. He is good. I will say he was good. He is getting nerfed. Health decrease from 775 down to 765. Mana decrease from 400 going down to 380. Flame Turret, his primary cooldown decreased from 20 going down to 16 to now 20 going down to 14. However, turret health magical power scaling decreased from 28% to 25%. Magical armor decreased from 10 to 34 to 10 to 22. Do you ever just get to a point where words just aren't meaningful anymore? Because that's how turret health magical power scaling felt. Oil Spill, his secondary burn damage decreased from 14 going up to 34 to now 10 going up to 30. Molotov, explosion magical power scaling decreased from 45% to 40%. And Inferno, his ultimate damage decreased from 360 to 540 to now 330 going up to 510 at max level. Again, we're doing some slight adjustments. It is all across the board, but Iggy was too strong all across the board. I think this will bring him in line, especially when we see the changes to Gideon. I think mid lane is looking a lot more balanced right now. Kalari, this is a hell of a change, by the way. Attack speed increased from 115 to 120. Attack speed growth increased from 1.6 to 2. Kalari's jungle clear is insane now. Her early clear, which was kind of a bit of a struggle for her, is actually really healthy and very fast. This also lets her box in the early game pretty well, surprisingly. Very strong change for Kalari. You have to remember too that this isn't just you're doing more damage without your abilities. You're autoing when you mark somebody. You're sitting there auto trading an enemy with mark. This is all matters a lot. You're marking a camp. You're sitting there autoing more. The more autos you get, the more damage you're doing because of your mark. The more damage your mark burst does because they're missing more HP. This is a big buff and actually kind of a scary buff when you're talking about Kalari, as well as the XP jungle changes, where Kalari is now not worried about falling behind so badly. I don't know, Kalari could be really scary in this patch. Kira, a character that I thought wasn't going to be good last patch, but was very good. Bonus Vengeance, her passive bonus damage per stack decreased from 1.5% to 1.2%. Dusk, her primary cooldown changed from 12 to now 14 going down to 10 at max level, so nerf early, buff late. Mercy, her alternate damage decreased from 15 going up to 155 to now only 10 going up to 50. Total physical power scaling decreased from 85 going up to 95 at max level to now 80 going up to 90 at max level. And Purge, her ultimate on-hit modifier decreased from 25% to 20%, trying to mitigate that on-hit Kira build that has been running lobbies. Good nerfs to Kira. Again, nothing crazy. This is a little concerning that it might be a bit overkill, but the character is busted, so. And Quang, in my opinion, the most underrated hero and predecessor. Passive, mana growth increase from 44 to 50. That'll help him a lot in lane. I recently learned that he kind of struggles with mana in lane. Strike of the Heavens is passive, damage decreased from 18 plus 5 per level to now 14 plus 5 per level. Pretty significant nerf to his passive, don't get me wrong. It is only 4 damage, but when we're talking about clearing camps, it's pretty significant, I guess, in the early game. Maybe I said significant, I shouldn't have. Judgment of the Heavens, his primary cooldown decreased from 16 going down to 13 at max level to now 16 going down to 12. Light of the Heavens, his alternate shield decreased from 85 going up to 185 at max level to now 65 going up to 185 at max level. So it is just an early game nerf. And then we talk about how it's actually getting buffed, because shield magical power scaling increased from 55% to 65%. Also, shield max health scaling increased from 6% to 7%. So even if you are not building a single magical damage item, which you should be building at least one, it's still better anyway. So we actually have buffed it. Bug Fix now correctly grants 2 passive stacks when used immediately after throwing Judgment of the Heavens. I felt like sometimes I wasn't getting my full passive, and I'm glad I wasn't crazy. And then Fury of the Heavens, damage increased from 240 going up to 480 to now 240 going up to 500, and the magical power scaling increased from 85% to 90%. So we have once again, for some reason, buffed one of the best characters in the game. Not sure why. We did nerf his early game, which was needed. Like, this needed to happen. I'm gonna highlight the part that needed to happen. This needed to happen. This needed to happen. This will mitigate how insanely busted he is at trading early game. But late game, we've buffed him. I don't know. Ultimately, it's a buff. Yikes. This is also, when we're talking about for jungle, this is massive. All of this is massive. Lieutenant Bellica, health increased from 750 to 760, and Void Bomb, her alternate magical power scaling increased from 75, or from 55 going up to 70 to now 60 going up to 75 at max level. Cooldown decreased from 7 to 6.5. Morigesh, Mark, her alternate cooldown increased from 6 going down to 4 at max level to now 7 going down to 5 at max level, and the magical power scaling decreased from 40% to 35%. I still think this character is an absolute menace. Muriel, huh, what a glorious day today is. Or, well, Tuesday will be. Mana regen decreased from 2 to 1.8. Sentinel, her passive damage decreased from 10 to 8. Magical power scaling decreased from 15% to 12%. Serenity, her primary damage decreased from 100 going up to 260 to now 90 going up to only 250, so a 10 decrease at all levels. Consecrated Ground, her secondary shield decreased from 130 to going up to 330 max level to now 105 going up to 305 at max level, so 25 down at all levels. And damage decreased from 100 going up to 180 to now 80 going up to 160, a 20 decrease at all levels. Reversal of Fortune, her ultimate damage decreased from 150 going to 300 max level to now 125 going up to 225 at max level. Magical power scaling increased, however, from 50% to 60%. The shield is decreased from 450 going up to 950 to now only 380 going up to only 860. Cooldown increased from 160 going down to 100 at max level to now 160 going up to only 100 going down to only 120 at max level. And knockup height decreased by 10%. Muriel has been nerfed so hard, and I cannot be more happy. This is by far the best support in the game, and it's not close, and I hate her, and they gutted her, and I'm so happy, and I'm pretty sure this character's awful now, and I am so happy about it. Holy, am I happy that this character's bad now. I think she's bad. Phase Energy Lance, her secondary additional damage decreased from 40 going up to 140 to now 35 going up to 135, and Telekinetic, like her alternate, cooldown increased from 24 going down to 14 to now 26 going down to 14. So nerfed early game. Rampage. I don't remember the Rampage changes. Boulder Toss's primary cooldown changed from 17.5 going down to 11.5 to now 17 going down to 11. Mana cost decreased from 100 to 80. So just 0.5 second lower cooldown. Okay. Rumble, his secondary damage. Why? Damage decreased from 45 going up to 165 to now 40 going up to only 160. But the total physical power scaling. Oh, it's total physical power scaling at least. Increased from 80 to 90. All right, cool. All right, yeah, this is fine. This is ultimately above. Revenant. Bat at levels 1 through 18 decreased from 1.05 to 0.9225 to now 1.05 to 0.88. Hellfire rounds, his alternate critical strike damage modifier increased from 135 going up to 160 to now 145 going up to 170. Rev was very much so struggling with the buff to crit and the buff to Hellfire rounds. Maybe he's back in the meta. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Richter. Mana growth increased from 55 to 65. Shock therapy damage buffed again. From 80 going to 260 to now 85 going up to 265. Electrocute secondary magical power scaling increased from 60% to 70%. And bonus health scaling increased from 8% to 9%. Skewer, his ultimate damage increased from 120 going up to 280 to now 130 going up to 310. Pretty significant buff for Richter. This will be big for jungle, offlane, and support. Like, it's big for everything, but I'm mostly thinking jungle. The mana, I guess, growth is big for support and offlane. Severog, still kind of on the struggle bus. Mana cost decreased from 35 to 30, and damage per tier increased from 15 to 20. Colossal Blow, his ultimate damage increased from 270 going up to 570 to now 280 going up to 590. A little bit of a shove to help him there with the Siphon buff and Colossal Blow. Shinbi getting a nerf, sadly. Magical power scaling on Binding Melody, which is her passive, going from 16% to 15%, nothing crazy. And Circle Rhythm, her secondary shield magical power scaling decreased from 55% to 50%. Sparrow getting nerfed again. Relentless, her passive max health damage decreased from 0.4% to 0.35%. Piercing Shot, her alternate damage decreased from 100 going up to 280 to now 90 going up to only 270. And Inner Fire, her ultimate side arrow damage decreased from 50% going up to 80% to now 50% going up to only 70%. Maybe this will be, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back and takes her out of the meta. We'll see. Faye, Harvest Nettle's secondary damage decreased from 95 going up to 215 to now 90 going up to only 210. Nothing super big there. Wraith, Peekaboo, his primary Mark Max health damage changed from 6% to 6% going up to 8% at max level. Mark Magical Power Scaling decreased from 2.5% to 2%. Ultimately, I believe that's a buff? Knock Knock, his alternate damage increased from 90 going up to 190 to now 95 going up to 195, and the bonus physical power scaling increased from 125 to 135. Pretty significant buffs for Wraith. Maybe this will see him sneaking into the meta here, especially with I think on hits getting nerfed more. Xeris. Thrust, his basic attack bonus physical power scaling decreased from 85% to 80%. Gladiator, his passive max health healing per stack decreased from 0.5 going up to 3% at max level to now 0.4% going up to 3.2. What? So it's nerfed early game. It's nerfed at everything except for max level where it goes a bit higher. Okay, so mostly a nerf. Barricade primary damage mitigation decreased from 60% going up to 80% to now only 50% going up to 70%. Evade, his secondary mana cost increased from 50 to 60. Spear of Near, his alternate bonus physical power scaling decreased from 120 to 110. And Colosseum, his ultimate duration decreased from 6 to 5.5. I think when we're talking about straws that breaking the camel's back, I think this is my straw that's going to break me from playing Xeris jungle anymore. Significantly hurting his clear and his regen is really tough. The Colosseum ult duration is a bit sad. He was just nerfed the last patch pretty hard. And then Grim getting nerfed. Xeris shits on Grim. With Grim not being meta anymore, probably you have less reason to pick Xeris. Alright, that's all for heroes. Moving into item balance now. Holy shit. Judgment, Thundercleave damage type changed from physical to magical. Interesting. Thunder Cleaver damage changed from 120% of total physical power to now 70 flat plus 40% of your total physical power. Interesting. So you don't get any value out of your pen anymore. That's gonna hurt Fang Mao running this pretty hard, actually. Dust Devil, cost decrease from 3,250 to now 3,150, and it loses 5% attack speed, going from 30 to 25%. Equinox loses 5% attack speed, going from 35 to 30%. Lightning Hawk, physical power increased from 35 to 40, attack speed decreased from 30 to 25. Nuclear Rounds now correctly amplifies true damage abilities. Onyxian, so that is a buff to that. Onyxian Quiver, multi-shot damage changed from 15 going to 45 to now 16 going to 40. Plasma Blade, magical power increased from 25 to 30. Magical power increased, or physical power increased from 25 to 30. Magical power increased from 40 to 45. Attack speed decreased from 35 to 30. Sky Splitter, rend current health damage decreased from 4% to 3.5%. Stormbreaker, attack speed decreased from 30 to 25%. Tainted Rounds, physical power increased from 25 to 30. Attack speed decreased from 30 to 25%. Vanquisher gets one more pen. So we're out of ADC items now. Everything is going down in attack speed, basically. ADCs are going to be attacking a lot slower. There was not much given to anything to help mitigate that. Like Plasma Blade got some. That's a crit item. Lightning Hawk got something. That's a crit item. Was seen in on-hit builds because it's like a hybrid. Dust Devil didn't get anything. Equinox didn't get anything. Sky Splitter didn't lose attack speed, but it did lose health damage, which when you take that into account with Stormbreaker losing attack speed, that level 2 spike is significantly weaker. Tainted Rounds losing attack speed is super relevant. And then, yeah, Vanquisher gets one more pen going from 8 to 9. Envy loses a pen going from 8 to 7. Malady gets a physical pen going from 6 to 7. Infernum, thank you Morgesh for making this item get nerfed, so I can't run it on Kallari very well. Cinder bonus physical power scaling decreased from 1.5 to 1.25%. Furnace bonus cinder damage decreased from 0.75% to 0.5%. So this was eating tanks alive when you were picking it mostly on Morgesh. Well, now you've made it so much worse for Kallari. Now Kallari doesn't really handle Sevarog all that well, or Steel all that well. Unfortunate. The item was overtuned. It doesn't need to be nerfed, but, you know, I'm sad that Morgesh is probably the reason why. Mesmer gets one physical pen. Omen, cost increased from 3050 to now 3100. Physical power increased from 40 to 45. Physical penetration increased from 7 to 8. Omen buff, interesting. Bonesaw, physical power increased from 25 to 35. 20% tenacity removed. Yeah, not sure why that needed to happen. I guess because tenacity was too easy to get, mostly because of Gaia Greaves. Which I guess fair, but like maybe give it something else? I don't know. I feel like that's not a fair trade. Mutilator, Devour max health damage decreased from 3% to 2.5%. Combustion, magical penetration decreased from 8 going down to 7. Pyro damage decreased from 60 going down to 50. Combustion was overperforming. This was needed. Hopefully this brings it a bit more in line. Dreambinder, health increased from 300 to 350. Noxia, magical power decreased from 85 to 80. Dark matter cooldown increased from 8 to 10. This item is incredibly broken. I don't think this is enough of a nerf. Prophecy, here is the big Shinbi nerf. Magical power, or magical strikes magical power scaling decreased from 22% to 20%. I think this is still going to be a really good item and Shinbi will still be super viable. But sad nerf to Prophecy. Soulbinder, arcane salvo cooldown decreased from 12 to 10. I don't think this will save this item, but it is nice that it is easier to stack. Worldbreaker, coming back in line with what it used to be. Maya bonus health to magical power scaling increased from 4.5 to 5%. Dawnstar, health increased from 250 to 300. This is an item that doesn't get used enough, and it's kind of interesting. On Grux, like even Grux offlane. Dynamo, health increased from 275 to 300. Everbloom, Divine Protection now only applies to ally heroes, not yourself. I'm pretty sure this wasn't supposed to do that based on the way the item was worded, but now it doesn't. Frosted Lure buff going from 350 to 400 HP. Hexbound Bracers, physical armor increased from 35 to 40. Nice change. Marshall, Sheriff attack speed decreased from 20% to 15%, a much needed nerf. Frostguard getting buffed is crazy to me. This item is insane in jungle and offlane, I think. Physical armor increased from 45 going up to 50. Base health regen increased from 75% to 100%. I build this like almost every game on tank junglers. Tainted Guard, Blighted Thorns damage increased from 50 to 60. Oh, so sorry, Grux. And Warden's Faith, Stalwart crit damage reduction increased from 12% to 5%. And that's all for item changes. Here's a bunch of bug fixes. There is a notable bug that I will say that I know about, that I'll say out loud because people that might not care about all the bugs will care about this one. Previously in ranked, if you didn't own a character, you couldn't ban them. That bug is now fixed. Also, Feng Mao's ultimate indicator is now fixed. That's a big one. I'm surprised that made it into this patch. That's a relatively recent fix. Alright, that was all for update version 0.19. That was a lot. Massive patch, bringing things more in line, nerfing ADCs a bit, buffing tanks a bit, buffing junglers, pretty significantly, actually. Good patch. I'm really happy. Terra seems fun. I hope you're all excited to play her. There should be 2 videos on screen now. Give those a check while you're there. Like, follow, subscribe. Go down in the comments, leave a comment, and go follow me on Twitch. You know, I'm live 2 or 3 times a week at least. That's all for me. Bears out. Peace.